On traders? It's Ricky with TechWhat Solutions. Thank you guys again for joining us for another live stream. This is going to be a very quick video just talking to you guys about what I did well today and kind of how today played out. So I ended up trading a series of two different stocks, and that was AMD. I ended up selling my position that I held overnight. I was in at an average of 13.93, ended up exiting at 13.95. You guys, if you guys saw my live stream in the morning, it was a very simple play. Didn't play out the way that I expected. It had a huge dip overnight, which is necessarily not what I wanted. I thought based on news that I ended up reading a little bit later, it was going to, in a sense, be a benefit to me. But it ended up not just playing out the way that I predicted. AMD is it's a pretty much company that's partnered with Apple. And they just came up with like, the most advanced graphic card or something like that, right? So something for a company that's solely based on that specific market. I thought releasing something like such news as that would, in a sense, lead to a huge spike. If you look at AMD overall, like in a 20-day analysis, or if you look at it even at a 180-day analysis, it is, in a sense, somewhat high based on where its lowest points here at like $10. It is somewhat, hitting almost a peak. I did call out a couple days ago that it has this consistent trend of seeing huge spikes, having decent pullbacks, seeing huge spikes, having decent pullbacks, seeing huge spikes, and now it's seen a pullback. So that's why I felt somewhat uncomfortable about holding this one overnight for more than one day. And then I thought the chance that I would get that I'm going to be in the green just to lock in profits. And I'm just going to explain to you guys a little bit more about that. But although it's still showing signs of upward momentum, it's just not, it's more on a downward trend in the long run. So if I'm thinking of swing trading this one, then I'd much rather buy when it's bouncing like at this point right here or at this point right here, rather than its retraction from its, peak and stuff like that. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. That's why I didn't want to hold AMD for any longer. But on my position today, it just did not play out the way that I expected. I got in at an average of 13.93. I bought in a little bit more when it took a dip as of yesterday. And today it just wouldn't break above $14, and it had a double top at $14 and then had a decent pullback. I ended the live stream saying that I put a limit order at 13.95, and later throughout the day I got filled like maybe 20-30 minutes later after my live stream, and it went shy over 13.95. It went to 13.96 due to the volume being so high. Ended up getting filled and then dropped all the way down to 13.76. And then throughout the day, it just continued to see a downward trend all the way down to 13.37. So I thought about getting in again at 13.37 right before the market closed to see if that could potentially be a good close or a good hold overnight. The reason I didn't, I'm going to explain it to you guys very simply or in a very simple way, is if you do a 5-day analysis, it looks like during pre-market hours, it tends to see a really decent rise. Why is this not loading? Okay, well, during pre-market hours, it tends to see a pretty decent rise sometimes when it holds overnight. So if you can see people who held overnight, it has a really nice rise. But then right when the market opens, it has a huge pullback. Same thing here. It has a nice rise, huge pullback, has a nice rise, huge pullback. So it just didn't look very profitable with all the things, all the signs that I saw that, how it usually plays out right as the market opens. I'd rather buy when it opens during a pullback rather than having to hold overnight and then risk it continuing to see a downward trend in the long runs, just because the 180-day trend doesn't show it to be, in a sense, a great buy at this specific moment. I called out again a couple days ago that about 12.50 to $12 is where I would probably expect AMD, if it continues this upward trend, to bounce out and then start climbing back up. But that's pretty much my position on AMD. I went in very heavy, and that's why I went in just a lot heavier than I usually do with my positions on different stocks. I usually invest $3,000 per position, and I usually use Fidelity to execute on my trades. The thing that I didn't like about this one is that I was in a little bit over $5,000 when it came to my position on AMD, because I ended up averaging down as of yesterday. So due to that, although I only locked in 2 cents per share, it was a little bit over like $8. But again, nothing huge. Green is green, and I'd much rather lock in profits and rather it be, nothing and just $8 than have to take a loss and stuff like that. So that's make this video talk about the importance that overall, like, although I do see AMD within the next couple of weeks potentially coming back up, um, it just didn't I just didn't want to ride it all the way down, and I didn't want to risk it with the amount of money that I have invested. It's not worth the risk for me. I'd much rather just lock in profits, or probably yesterday I would have had to cut losses because simply by, having to hold overnight, or if I didn't sell at the position that I did, I would have been down like, 3 to 4%, and that's not necessarily something that I want to do. The thing that I did pretty good today was with my position on, let's go ahead and pull it up, that I had it up here. ECYT. It's one that I've traded very often, and it's one that I've called out numerous times within the past couple of weeks. And again, I want to start off by saying that if you guys don't understand what it is that, that I'm investing in, and don't understand why I jump in no way do I want you guys to invest in something that you guys don't understand. And that's one of the biggest rules that we have within Technical Solutions is only trade what it is that you see value in, and never trade based on anyone else's opinion. Something that we do very good within Technical Solutions is we use exposure to help us get a better understanding of what to expect. But we make sure that us, the investors, are the final decision makers on what we invest in. And ECYT for the past couple of days, it has not gone below $1.50. So that is my support. Understanding that there's a resistance at $1.60, and it actually hit that resistance yesterday. I traded ECYT just a little bit yesterday, and that was due to an overnight hold that I did the night before. And it wasn't because I felt, extremely comfortable holding it. It's just that my orders didn't get executed after market hours. But as of today, what ended up happening was I pretty much got in 1 cent higher than I did yesterday, and that was at the support at $1.52. And the reason that I want to talk about this is it comes down again to risk management. And let me go ahead and get a little bit. My goodness. Sorry about the delay. Okay, so I understand that $1.50 is the support. I understand that $1.60 is the resistance. At least that's how it played out yesterday. Resistance, and then support at 152. It has gone lows of 150, so that's the overall support. Understanding that is, I want to make sure that I get in when it starts showing signs of upward momentum. Simply by doing that, I put in a limit order at $1.52, as I identified that to be the support at the bounce. So I understand that 150 is the overall support, but again, I want to make sure that I get in. And the price, if it was at 150, I probably would have bought in again at 151. But it didn't go that low, so that's why I bought in at 152. And realistically, based on how the resistance were playing out, I thought 156 was going to be the ideal sell point, and that's why I sold at 156. Based on the previous trend, I thought 156 was a pretty solid support before, so I thought it was going to be a pretty, strong resistance. But if you can see, it ended up squeezing right through 159. I didn't end up selling at 159. I sold at 156, but I bought it at 152. So my position there, again, nothing huge, but it was 2.58% profit, and with a risk account of a little bit over $3,000, or my position being a little bit over $3,000, it was a little bit over $80 that I was able to lock in. Again, nothing huge, but again, profit's profit. I understood my support. I understood the resistance based on previous, trends, and I understood my risk. I knew that 150 was the support, and that's where I had my stop loss set right as I got filled. So I knew that my risk was about a little bit over 1%, but my profit was about twice that much. So I, in a sense, because I'm comfortable with ECYT, I didn't just trade it because I was hoping for the best, but because I understood my risk and the risk was worth it. And it comes down to something that simple. It's I didn't trade this because someone else told me. I didn't trade it based on anyone else's opinion. I traded it because it's something that I'm comfortable with. It's something that I understand, and it's something that I felt that I could make a profit off of, and that the risk was worth it for me. A lot of players within our technical solutions team did very well with MBRX. Thanks to the member that called it out during pre-market hours, I had a huge spike from $1.60 all the way up to $2.20. But not only then, a lot of people waited for the pullback, and it had a really solid support at $1.80 that we called out within the group chat. And then after that bounce, it just continued to rise up to 210. So a margin of profit of about 13 or 14% profit if you wrote it out properly. And then had another pullback. I'm sorry, it dropped down to 180. Um, hit 210 and then had a little pullback right before the market closed, as you would expect, people not wanting to hold MBRX, which is more of a um, lower cap stock. So that totally makes sense. I probably would have not held my position either if I was in MBRX. But that's really just it, guys. I just wanted to make a quick video answering your guys' questions. And let's see. Okay, so Gaming and More is asking, what would I recommend to invest long term? I do want to make sure that you guys are aware that we do have a swing trading group chat, and within that, we have members that talk about different stocks that they're personally trading long term. So feel free to join that. Other than that, I'm personally not holding you know any swing trades at this current moment. I feel like I have most of my opportunity within day trades, and I see more of a return. But that's me personally. So again, the link is provided for you down below. If you guys want to join, you guys can join TechWhat Solutions. You simply have to have a Facebook account, and once you get accepted, you simply find your way to go down here on the top pinned post. You click see more, and then you can join all the series of group chats that we have available, and you can network with over 25,000 members with all the different platforms we have available. So that's really just it, guys. We really do appreciate you guys tuning in again. If you guys have any questions or recommendations for future videos, or some obstacles that you're encountering that you would like me to answer, please feel free to direct message me within the TechWhat Solutions um, platform and the group chat. Other than that, that's really just it. I want to thank you guys again for tuning in. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, guys.